There is nothing worse than having to come at the defense of one of your rivals. And as a Michigan fan, I have to do this with Kenneth Walker. And this video will not be long or as long as my others by any means, because it's not like we're breaking down a game and having to preview both sides. We're talking about one player, one man, a man of good character, and an elite running back, and Kenneth Walker III. That's what we're going to be talking about today, and in my opinion, why he was robbed and why he deserved to be in New York ahead of, in my opinion, C.J. Stroud and, Aiden Hutchinson. And I'm saying this as a Michigan fan. This guy is incredible. So if you want to listen to this, and if you, just like the idea of it, give this channel a like and hit that subscribe button, comment your thoughts below. And even if you don't, do all those things, because I am very much open to discussion. If you are a person who likes having discussions, I think you will like this channel. So hit that like button, share this video around, subscribe, comment your thoughts down below. Do you think Walker deserved to go to New York? Because as a Michigan fan, it is funny that he didn't go. Because it's like, oh, cool, Hutchinson went, and then Michigan State's player didn't go. So that's like something that I find is funny as a Michigan fan. Whereas a fan, it's like, ha 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 ha. But as taking out the mockery side, the side where I just laugh at, once again, Michigan State not being in something. You take that out. This is wrong. This is wrong. And I'm going to show you why that is wrong. Because, this guy literally deserves to be in New York. Look up his stats on ESPN and tell me why he wasn't invited. There is no reason. He is, I think, second in rushing yards. This guy tears up good rushing defenses. The only two teams who stopped him were Indiana and Nebraska, and he still ran at a minimum for 3 yards per carry against them. And a lot of that was because of his O-line and some of the bad play calling. So, this guy's incredible. If Michigan or Alabama or a team with a better O-line had him, he'd probably have over 2,000 rushing yards. So, listen, it just is what it is. If you're a Spartan fan and you're mad, there's nothing you can do to control it. But just know that you have one of the best players in the country. He'll probably get some kind of All-American status. At least he'll deserve it. And, yeah, it stinks that he didn't get to go to New York. He will receive votes for sure. And he'll probably get drafted in the first round. So you'll get to say that, your program and Mel Tucker developed a first-round running back. But nonetheless, the Heisman has to mean something. The Heisman's supposed to be awarded to the best player. Hutchinson is elite at his position. Stroud is, you could probably argue near elite to elite at their position. Listen, there are like 130 starting QB positions. 130 of them. You can have multiple, like 5 or 6 or 7 guys who could be considered elite because that's a small percentage. But only 1 out of those 7 is the best player. Stroud is not the best QB. He isn't. In my opinion, he is such a good supporting cast, and when that supporting cast falls apart, with the exception of the Michigan game, he's kind of gone to, just not being a great QB when the supporting cast breaks down. Bryce Young, makes plays. He doesn't like to run, but does it anyway. That, no-look lateral pass was amazing. Bryce Young deserves to be in that conversation. Pickett, for what he's done with limited talent, deserves to be there too. And probably, in my opinion, that's who deserves to be at the QB position. Will Anderson, edge rusher, plays pretty similar position to what Hutchinson plays. And Anderson's considered a linebacker, but, Anderson and Hutchinson do the exact same thing. They rush the quarterback. And Anderson, whether Michigan fans like to admit it or not, Anderson has better numbers, like by far, in the tackle for loss position and by a good margin in the sack position as well. He's also a sophomore, so he's going to be even better in his junior and senior year. So, I mean, you have arguably 1-2 guys who aren't even the best in their position there. And what about the best running back? Walker's definitely up there. Braylon Allen could even be in that conversation. I wouldn't say Haskins is the best. He might be the most reliable running back to a certain degree because he just doesn't get injured. He's never fumbled. I would not say he's the most talented or explosive. Walker, I'd say, is the best running back. Again, Derrick Henry-like numbers. And yet, I'm going to show you these numbers here, and you can decide for yourself. And yet, he was not invited. So look at this. These are facts about Kenneth Walker. 263 rushing attempts, which is 5th in the nation. Only 1 fumble, which was a perfect play by a Purdue defender to punch out the ball. 1,636 rushing yards, 2nd in the nation, with 18 rushing TDs, which is 8th in the nation. This guy runs, and only few can stop him. Only few. Again, Nebraska, Indiana. And those are teams that frankly can't win a game. And they stopped him, but those teams couldn't, stop Michigan State altogether and beat him. Walker is phenomenal. And rushing for 6.2 yards per carry, 27th. It's not like, top 10 or amazing, but keep in mind, he's done this all behind a bad O-line. Michigan State's O-line is not good. It's not. One of their guys gets injured, they have to reshuffle everything. Against good pass rushing teams, Thorne gets pressured out of his mind. Just look at the Michigan and Ohio State games. And Ohio State, a lot of it was, coverage, but when anything more than 3 or 4 guys were sent, which was rare when they played Ohio State, the O-line just couldn't do anything. They couldn't. Michigan State's O-line is not a prime O-line. It's not Michigan's. It's not Ohio State's. It's not Wisconsin's. And imagine if Walker was behind those O-lines and used in the same way. Oh boy. Probably have 7 yards per carry, close to 2,000 rushing yards, over 20 rushing touchdowns. It'd be incredible. I mean, again, these numbers they all pretty much resemble Derrick Henry-like numbers, and Walker is a strong kid, good character, and I know that good character isn't necessarily taken into account when it comes to the Heisman, but nonetheless, he's done this behind a bad O-line, and even more impressive, he has 6 touchdowns, 375 yards total, versus top 30 scoring defenses. 2 of them were top 10, Penn State, Michigan. And then I included the Ohio State one because, he played in that game. They're a top 30 scoring defense. And I'm going to assume that if he was healthy, it would have been a lot bigger because, you look at the Michigan game the week after, Ohio State's rush defense is a paper tiger, as Mike Valenti put it, which you Spartan fans, of course, know of. He's one of my favorite people to listen to. But I think this was a robbery of epic proportions. You could probably write a book on why Kenneth Walker should be there instead of 2, possibly even 3 of the other candidates. That's just my opinion. And this might, again, be very unpopular. But I'm a Michigan fan, and I think it's important to be fair and voice my opinion, whether you, the viewer, agree with it or not. And you can disagree with me down in the comments below. But players, should be awarded for being the best at their position. This should not be based on, media campaigns. This should not be based on a popularity contest. Or it shouldn't be an award exclusively for the QB position, which is what it's felt like. I mean, if we're being real here, Devonta Smith, if Jalen Waddle wasn't injured, Mac Jones would have won the award. And we wouldn't even be talking, we wouldn't be, remembering Devonta Smith's amazing, just his amazing achievements. And this guy, honestly, might have been the best wide receiver. He was, the best. And if not for, Waddle being injured, which is unfortunate, he probably wouldn't have won it, because we like to focus on where the ball is, and we're all biased toward the QB position, or most of us are, when it comes to, thinking of who's the best player. And that's the problem. You're taking away from the whole sport, because Walker, the best running back, hugely improved. This guy, honestly, and Michigan State fans might not like this either, this guy carried you to 10 wins. Without him, you wouldn't have beaten Michigan. You would have lost to Purdue by more than 11. You probably wouldn't have beaten, some other teams as well. I mean, this guy is literally, it's him and Tucker. And I think I said this in a rant video after Michigan lost to MSU. It's him and Tucker. Him and Tucker drive the train, and everyone else is kind of riding. They're maybe tweaking and, helping to screw in some of the, loose screws and tighten the nuts and bolts. Tucker is the guy driving the train, and Walker is the engine, the massive engine that's carrying all the cargo. That's what this is. And that's why I think he deserves to be in New York, because he is the reason that this Michigan State team is where they are. And the best players, you know what the best players do? They carry their team, even if their team is all around good. Even so, like the example with Devonta Smith. Guy gets injured, takes on all the responsibility, always gets open. You cannot stop him. Carries the team, even though the team, was elite, without him. Like, he had an elite supporting cast. He still carried them. Bryce Young, making rushes even though he doesn't want to run, having Heisman level throws, reads, whatever, carries his team, even though they're elite. And then, same thing with others as well. Lamar Jackson at Louisville. The second he left, Bobby Petrino was fired shortly after. He carried the team. Elite players, the best of the best, do that. And that's what I'm going to leave it off with, is I think that Walker just deserves the spot in New York. And these facts, plus the extra fact, kind of a given, that he has carried this team, that he is the engine, the driving force behind this team. It's why he deserves to be there. Despite the bad supporting cast, he has moved this team forward to an impressive 10-2 record. If you like this video, remember to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and comment your thoughts down below. What did you think about, the Heisman selection? Who do you think deserves to be there most? And who, what player that is there right now do you think should switch out with Kenneth Walker? Tell me down below. Thank you all for watching, guys, and I'll see you around.